Can you lead us off with the Star Spangled Banner, please?
No, I cannot.
Welcome to Binge Worthy. It is August 22nd, 2015. The only reason that's important is this one is not important. Pop Culture Countdown, that's important. So who cares, right?
What do you mean it's important?
Why?
Well, we say it's important because we mark it as that's what we said for that night. But for this, whether it's binge-worthy or not, doesn't matter when it is. It's either binge-worthy or it's not. So this is binge-worthy. This is the show where we talk about shows that you would find on Netflix or Amazon or YouTube or whatever, Hulu. And
Sundance Channel.
We watch through either a season or an entire
HBO.
series, and then we talk about it and we tell you whether it's binge-worthy and what type of binge-worthy it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get into this.
Yes.
Why don't we introduce ourselves? You are?
Martha Southgate.
I am Chris Mao.
Get close on that there, Martha.
Hi, Nathan.
And I'm Rob Southgate. Okay, and what show are we doing tonight?
We are doing Broadchurch, the first season.
It's a BBC show.
Of the British one with David Tennant and
Well, the
Olivia
English one,
Colman.
the American one is not called Broadchurch.
I know, so that's why I'm just clarifying in case anyone was.
Ask Scott what kind of
Unclear.
lantern it is. I'm sorry.
I've heard that. Okay.
Well, the American one is called Grace Point. So if anybody watched Grace Point, this is the original BBC show, and that also had David Tennant in the lead. But the American one, he has an American accent.
Yeah. Has
Hey,
anyone here seen
kind of.
Broadchurch?
Yeah.
Yes,
One,
yes,
two,
yes,
three,
yes.
Wow,
four.
nice.
Yes.
Many
Five.
people.
Ooh, all right.
Or that lady was just waving. I
She's
think.
just waving high. She thought she should wave high. So
I think my mom just gave me the big foam finger right there. So
not the chainsaw one. No. Not the Bruce Campbell one.
So we had a couple of Doctor Who people in this one. We had Rory, Arthur Darvill.
Yes.
And we had David Tennant, so that was fun.
yeah, I was surprised by that. Did you know Arthur Darvill
Well,
was in it?
they wrote his part specifically for him.
For
they
him.
had him in mind with the
Arthur Darvill.
Yes. Not
Really?
David Tennant, but for Arthur
So
Darvill.
he plays a priest in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at the end of it, he goes back in time and he gets oh no, that's another episode.
He dies and comes back and waits 2,000 years.
Yeah.
I stopped listening for a minute there, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, keep moving on. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
You're
Oh.
talking.
All right, so the original release
You
date-
have notes.
I have so many. Talk about legit.
Hold on.
Okay.
Too legit to quit.
Now, for the record, so many notes is 8 lines.
Right,
Just
exactly.
want to let that
it
for the record.
felt endless. Okay, so the original release date is March 4th, 2013, so it's been out for a little while, but we're a little slow to the uptake, and we didn't see it until this past week. But
We just watched My Mother the Car. That's a new show we heard about, and it was awesome.
so there are 2 more seasons after this, but we haven't watched them yet.
Because they're not on Netflix.
And what I thought was really
3
really
isn't out yet, is it?
interesting, Matt
3's
Gray.
2
is
isn't
the-
on it either.
Yeah, 2's on. 2's been done. Sorry.
Are you guys having a whole conversation here? Okay.
Well, yeah, he was asking about what's on Netflix.
You said 3
Who's
is
on
And that's
first?
important as we're talking
I
about
don't know. Third base.
binging. It's important
Yes,
they
it's on
know
Netflix.
there's only 1 season on Netflix
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah,
but
so
there
we're not
have been
just
3 seasons
underachievers.
made.
We couldn't watch the other 2.
Right, and we would have.
So anyway, Matt Gray was the director of photography and the camera operator, and he did this show as if it was a documentary film, and they filmed every scene in the order of the story, which is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
In film and TV shows, they always film certain shots based on where their location is or whatever to make it less expensive. But he didn't want anyone to know who the murderer was, so none of the actors knew going in. They didn't know it throughout the entire filming of the show. They did not find out until the final episode.
Yeah, which is fascinating.
So that way
But
they
it-
couldn't give it away.
Shooting sequentially, number 1 is very expensive, but number 2 is very difficult. Because let's say you're shooting this thing, in sequence, and somebody, their hair grows too much or something, and it becomes very obvious when you're shooting sequentially. Like, they have to really be on their game and keeping hair and makeup and everything just really right on the money. And also for things like continuity, because a lot of times they'll shoot a scene, maybe they're going to shoot 2 different days in the police department, and they'll shoot scenes mixed up in different things. Well, somebody might move a cup here, somebody might move a cup there, so they have continuity watching that. When you're doing it sequentially, you don't have to worry about that quite as much because they're shooting sequentially, but if something gets moved during a take, you are screwed. So
Yeah.
this is really
I found
interesting to know
fascinating.
that.
And I would have loved to have known that before I watched it. So that's why I'm telling you all, in case you wanted to go back and watch it.
We're going to call that one of Martha's
and
pro
go-
tips.
Because to me, I would watch it very differently, knowing that they were filming it that way.
Now, did they say if they did that for seasons 2 and 3?
No, they only specifically said they did it in the first season.
Okay.
And then the actors weren't allowed to go to any of the places where they filmed ahead of time. So when they were
Right.
on set, it was the first time they were seeing it. So that way it was much more real.
Well, and especially for David Tennant's character, he wasn't from Broadchurch.
Right.
So him going into the newsstand might literally be the first time his
Right.
character would walk in the newsstand. So getting that actual perspective is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how fresh they kept it within the takes.
I don't know.
You know?
Well,
Pretty
no.
much. Yeah. We've got answers.
Almost the entire season 1 was filmed. Almost every scene was one take.
Well,
That is crazy,
Or
isn't
what
it?
they
Mind-blowing.
said is that they took several takes, but almost all of the things that they put on the show were the first take because it was the freshest.
Right.
There were very few that they did that, but it is
Exactly.
almost the entire first takes.
Which
when
is
you
crazy.
Think about it. Like, I can't, what's the woman's name who played Ellie?
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Coleman,
Olivia Colman.
who's in Doctor Who as well as a
Yes.
side character. So
Yes,
11th
yes,
hour.
she was in it too.
11th hour.
Thank you. I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't remember
there's
that.
like 6 of them who are in Doctor Who because
She has
the
a-
old man is in plays the sorry.
Oh yeah. The shop owner. He's in it.
He's
He's Filch from Harry Potter.
He's in Harry Potter.
I can't think of the name of
I
his.
can't think of his name either, but he
I
was
didn't get
great
that
in
in
it.
my notes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Okay.
failed.
So
That's the first thing I looked at. Sorry.
Yeah.
But when you think about her acting, like her acting in this, everybody's acting was very good in this. This is a solid show.
Yeah, excellent.
But when
yeah.
you think she's pulling that off in one take, that's like stage acting, only with a camera on you.
Right.
Stage acting, if you have to cry on stage and you can't muster up the tears, well, you can fake it. You can do things to make it look like you are. When you're filming something, you have to really muster it up. You can't go like, wait, let me touch my eye and make a tear come out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she had emotion all over the place. She was great.
Yeah, she was
Now I'm
amazing.
really even more impressed,
Yeah.
too.
I need to rewatch it now. with all
She was
these
a
things
train
in it.
wreck. I mean, as a character,
Ellie?
she was unbelievable. How just
She had a lot going on.
she
You know
did.
what?
Absolutely had a lot going on. So.
It reminded us the whole time. We watched the entire series of The Killing.
And we podcasted that one.
Right.
together.
We have a Killing podcast, ironically called The Killing Podcast. And in this, we kept equating it to that. There were
Yeah.
so many things. And when you compare
was better.
lead female to lead female, it's interesting because very different types of train wrecks. One was the Silver Streak and the other one was a freight train. But
Oh, I thought you were going with
Come on,
like
train
Gene
nerds.
Wilder or something.
Come on, train
like
nerds.
one
I
was
just
Gene
throw it out
Wilder,
there
the
for you.
other one was
Stir crazy.
yeah.
where'd this podcast go?
I don't know.
Well,
Well, my notes are done. We're screwed now.
Is that it?
Can we say Frau Blicker? No, sorry.
Frau Blucher again.
Speaking of Gene Wilder, so we're
Yeah, man. Let's focus on different aspects of it. First of all, let's talk about the acting because David Tennant was David
Unbelievable.
Tennant,
Oh no,
but he is so good.
yeah,
But-
he
but
wasn't the
I'm-
doctor though.
I'm
he
gonna-
was
I'm
playing a
gonna
completely
contend
different
he was
character.
really, really good, and I think he got better as the series went
Yes.
because I think
I
the
agree,
filming
too.
style threw him off. But I will also say that by the time he did it in Grace Point, it was way better.
Really?
And I'm just
Really?
gonna throw that in there. He was
Okay.
so much better in that point of. I think he knew the character a little bit better. And in the beginning of Broadchurch, he did not know how to play.
True. He
him.
got in that first series. He got better. He wasn't bad to begin with. But
No.
he got better.
Has anyone seen Grace Point?
Oh.
Okay, more.
Wow.
Okay, so more.
Somebody
people.
likes David Tennant. I have a
Now,
feeling.
did you like anyone who saw both? Did you like one or the other better?
I think that in Grace Point, I was amazed at what a wonderful American accent David Tennant is doing. It's incredible. You couldn't tell any British nothing. But you were right. I think because he played the character before, he was a lot more comfortable with it. He could add a few things to it. That's what
Okay.
I noticed. Like the, I don't know if you mentioned
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's sick through the series.
Right, and you can tell more of the, the inner struggle with sickness.
Yeah.
And Grace Point.
That's
Oh,
a really good
interesting.
point. He does.
All
He
right.
has that underneath him. I think he understood that. The one thing I like about the Broadchurch version, and not to mix them up, is that they all kind of start out uncomfortable, and I think it shows, which I think is a good addition to the show because I think they're very, there's that ill ease.
Well, especially
between them.
since he's the new
Yeah, exactly.
guy,
Well,
and he took
especially
her
with Olivia,
job,
especially
and-
with Olivia Colman and him, because I mean, there's a lot of there's
Yeah, there's not a
uncomfortableness and there's
comfortable-
the animosity that they are acting, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Where in
I
the
thought they had
American
very good
version,
chemistry.
Yeah. Well, they're both great actors.
Yeah.
So.
David, did you want to say something 5 minutes ago?
David Tennant is in the house.
No, we watched Grace Point first,
Oh,
and we heard later that it was a remake of Broadchurch. And we really enjoyed Grace Point until we watched Broadchurch.
ah,
We felt like Broadchurch was done much better.
okay.
Interesting.
We actually started the second season, and that was really it had a great start to the second season.
Okay.
But Grace Point, once I watched Broadchurch, I didn't feel the same about it.
I wish they could
Interesting.
combine some of the characters because I think Nick Nolte on Broadchurch would have been much better. He would have been
Wait, Nick
fantastic.
Nolte's in it?
Nick Nolte's in Grace Point.
I'm in.
He plays the he plays the old guy. He's amazing.
Really?
Unbelievable in
But he's
Grace
so
Point.
young.
Yeah, he is. He plays a young 75. It's great. So.
Young-ish. Yeah.
A little hard with the guys from Harry Potter. A little hard.
Yes.
Is that the part he played? Was the shop owner?
Yes.
Okay. And
Did he know he was on a show?
No. And-
He's not Gary
It's
Busey.
not,
He
I
did
was
know.
just going to
He
say he's
did
not
know.
Gary Busey. I think we're okay there. But did what I read was that they had a different murderer in Grace Point as well. They kind of
Don't
followed the
spoil
same.
anything.
I'm not. No. No, I'm not spoiling. No.
Yeah, it's
But
it's
they,
good
It's
too.
they
I'll
said
tell you
that
that.
they did a
It's different.
different ending so that it wouldn't be exactly the same. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
once again,
It's similar but different.
that's like The Killing, because The Killing
Smithman-
is a Swedish show
Smithman?
originally, and then it was remade
It's similar.
on AMC.
Okay.
And now that one they went 2 seasons before revealing the first killer, right? And it was the same kind of thing. It was very shocking. It was like when it hit, you're just like, "What? Yes, I did not see this."
It
Which,
was really
to
good.
pull that off for 2 seasons is pretty impressive. But we have not watched the Swedish version of it, but I have heard it is a different killer on the Swedish one, and that same thing. They didn't let people even in the production know they shot different killers for the American version, so that when even people in the production didn't know who killed Laura Palmer. So it's interesting. I mean, these two shows really, there's a lot of similarities, but I'm fine with that. I think we see where this is going for our binge
Laura
worthy.
Palmer.
Yeah, Laura Palmer.
He's thinking.
Isn't that the one
that's
from Twin Peaks?
Laura Palmer.
No.
You said you mixed it.
Rosie
up, but you-
Larson.
Rosie
I know.
Larson.
I was
but
like,
when you
you
said
were
it
way
because
off.
they talk about they intermingle those three all the time. That's
Yeah.
a very kind of interchangeable
Laura
setup.
Palmer.
Now wait a minute.
When's the twin or the
Who killed
midget that
Rosie
talks about
Greer?
it?
That's my next one.
Rosie Greer. He's alive.
Yeah. Is he alive?
No, he
Peg-
is not. Rosie
Peg,
Greer
will
is
you
not
look it
alive.
up?
No, but he was in that movie where he had 2 heads, which is the greatest thing ever. Remake that
Yes, that.
with
Tell-
Nick Nolte and Rosie Greer.
Just suggest
No, it'd be
to
O.J.
the-
Simpson and Nick Nolte.
Suggest
Imagine
that one
that.
to remake this,
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Our, the podcast buddies. So
My doppelganger.
It was going to be Bill
So-
Cosby, but that
so-
went south. That's not happening now.
Right. So I thought the greatest thing about
I got
this
a
whole
little
thing is
chuckle.
that they're going into this. Yeah, are we loud and reverbing? Probably.
Yep. It's Austin's fault.
They go into this small town where they say nobody has secrets, and everybody not only has secrets, but it's like secrets from secrets about
like-
secrets.
There's like 10
with
people in
secrets.
the town, and
Yes.
there's like, it's, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, no, they did say that the population at one point was 2,000,
Right.
which is really small.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really small when you
Right.
consider what was going on
yeah.
here. And they said, we've never had a murder. This murder,
Yeah.
holy smoke, what was going on? But it's great because the whole time, it's so interesting throughout the show. Every episode is interesting. I never felt like, yeah, that was a wasted episode. Or, we talk about that a lot with shows because we watch so
Right.
much where they have, well, just before the end, it got a little dreary or, Did you ever feel it was a drop?
No,
Oh, no.
no.
Not for 1 second. And did you guys? Let's go this way.
It didn't have a drop. It had ups and downs. It had highs and highs, I think.
Within
Yeah.
the episode.
Yeah.
But not a dip where you lost interest. It was
There
a
was
dip where it was
never
like,
an episode that I went,
okay.
we didn't need this episode.
There was a twist like every 10 minutes. It wasn't even
Yes.
like every half hour,
Yeah.
every show. It's like, huh? Who's sleeping with who?
you find something
Who's
out,
doing
you're
what?
like,
He's like, yeah.
well, wait a minute.
What did this
Yeah.
guy do? You're like, huh? Oh.
Okay, so going back to the acting, we've talked a lot about it. Who do you think really stood out? Who would you say was the actor in this thing? Because
Gosh.
I mean,
I didn't really feel like there were duds.
okay, that's-
I just didn't. I mean,
I'd say
normally I do, but
I think Olivia Colman.
was the best.
I think she
Was your highlight?
carried it by just because she had I'm not to say the most interesting. There was the most breadth of her character because she was train wreck to being great to being bad to being. I mean, what they put her character through was.
yes.
I feel
But
bad for her playing that character. That's how
Even
tough
her
it was.
son was
Yeah.
good. Oh, you have a question?
I was gonna say, the boys, Candy's name, the kid, right?
His friend,
Candy's friend.
Tom.
Was just like an incredible character.
Yes, he was very good. He did that very, very well, I think, yeah.
Well, and even the we'll just say the victim. I'm not going to go into anything
No,
more,
yeah,
but
don't
even
give
the
anything
victim,
away.
who we don't really get to see until the end, his acting was great.
Yeah.
The scenes with him, I was like, wow, this is really
Yeah.
great.
I didn't, and we did not feel that way about the killing. I mean, there were seasons where we were tortured, but and
No,
there were,
I wouldn't say seasons. There were
characters that we just
dips.
kept going, why is this person back
Yes.
on? But this show, it was just so well done.
Yeah.
It was one of those BBCs where they got a lot of their, I don't want to say they're stock actors, but they got a lot of the people that show up in a lot of shows that are very good and very solid. And I thought they all gave really good performances, which, I mean, I think they always do, but I think they put a lot of effort to make this a good show. Not just
Yeah.
kind of like, I hate to say another series that they throw some people on there and do some stuff. They really, they cast it very well.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate to say is rare, but they put a lot
It's
of effort
kinda
in
rare.
it shows.
The
A lot of
others,
times they let the peripheral characters.
And the American version
lame.
was just as well cast
falling
as
off my
the BBC version. And I'm
I
sad that
wanna
they
watch it now,
I'm
now
sad
that
that
I
they
hear
didn't
that.
You
extend
want to
it.
watch that I fell off my stool?
well, I see that all the time.
Yeah.
The other one I want to point out when I keep asking about this, I found his name, David Bradley. That's the actor that played the shopkeeper, who is Filch from Harry Potter.
The guy with the cat.
Yeah, the guy with the cat.
He plays Solomon the Traitor.
The
in-
creepy old
Yeah,
guy.
he's a BBC actor. He's in everything.
Well, he was in the Doctor Who spin-off one. He played
Yes.
the original Doctor. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't think of the name of it. sorry.
What was that? Time
Laura
and Space
Palmer.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Palmer.
David Lynch.
His acting in this is superior.
Yeah.
Like from an actor standpoint, because I was an actor, so I always look for acting abilities and things like that. I get very picky about that when it's terrible. This was fantastic. I mean, and David Bradley was like, wow. And yeah, okay, so what about standout scenes? Are there any scenes that stood out to you guys as like anything special? Because
Gosh, I mean, how do you?
I know it's hard. It's hard for me. I'll take this one to kind of get us going.
Yeah, but you can't say anything.
Well, no, I'm not going to give away anything that happens in it. Because when you talk about scenes with this, it's almost more locations, things that happen in certain
Okay, I
locations.
have one.
You have one.
At the end, the two women in the field.
That's what I was just going to say. The two women in the field. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And played out differently than I was expecting.
Oh yeah.
And it's
But just
one of
real.
those scenes
There's just a lot.
that 10 years from now when we're like, oh, remember this show and how good
That's
it was?
what I'll remember that scene.
That scene is going to be a memory.
And I may be combining ones when Tennant is standing on the cliff looking down and figuring all this
yes.
stuff out, and you're just like,
Yep. Yeah, Tennant's
yeah.
scenes, especially as we go on, when he, once again, getting towards the end of the season, when he starts adding it all together, it reminded me of The Killing. Sarah, the main character, would stare at, you know how they put the board up with the pictures and the locations of
Right.
a crime, and she'd stare at it. And we always loved those scenes because it was like, you could tell the wheels were really turning.
Right.
Has anyone here seen The Killing? To know what we're talking about?
Yes.
Your mom, nice.
She did because she would listen to our podcast
Yes.
and not know what we were talking about. That's dedication.
Yes.
Listening to your child's podcast.
Well,
Your
She's
grown
been coming
son.
here for a year and doesn't know what we're talking about. So that's pretty good.
She just gets to look up whether someone's alive or
She
dead.
likes
but
a
the
tuna
scenes-
sandwich and she's in. So
The scenes where you'd see her solving this, it was better
Yeah.
than any cop show where you're watching it just going like, I could really feel that this character was
Right.
really figuring this out. And that's how I felt with Tennant. When he pieced it together, it was,
he was
and
brilliant.
it could have gone Doctor Who. It could have been, oh my gosh, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was so subtle. And you knew when that switch flipped.
Well, and you also could see that he didn't want it to be. You know?
Yes.
And
Yeah, when he figured it out.
because he
Oh.
starts the appearances that he's very heartless and very not caring when the opposite is true.
So
He almost
caring,
cares too much when you look at it from the end. When
Right.
you look at it from the end going backwards, you find out that he really over cares.
Yeah.
Yes.
And instead of it being nonchalant, he is so intent on doing it correctly
Yeah.
that he can't make the mistake.
Yes.
And that changes the
Now-
perspective of the entire show when you
How
think
about
about that.
that story? There are a lot of underlying threads and a lot of underlying stories in this.
Not giving away too
I'm going to tell you guys right now. No, you're not. You're really
Okay.
not.
I think so.
I'm going to tell you guys right now. Watch it. Okay, you'll get to what we all say, but I'm going to say watch it if you haven't. But just pay attention because there are so many little threads throughout, and one of them that to me was fascinating was David Tennant's backstory.
Yeah.
Right.
Right from the beginning, they allude to the fact that something happened to him before, and it kept coming up. And I thought it was going to be one thing. We're so used to seeing this kind of stuff in shows that we always can
Right.
kind of predict, like, yep, it's going to be somebody died or this. I did not see this, and then they tell you the story. That's great. But then you find out the real story, and it's 10 times better.
Right.
And I think
that happens with most of the characters in the show.
yes.
And they
the
do that,
reveals,
and
they have a better reveal as
than
it
anything
goes
we
on.
could imagine they experienced. And
And one of the things I find about this that was, and I don't know what happens in the next seasons.
Neither do I.
well, they're not connected, I don't think, except for
Yeah,
him.
No.
Is she in it too?
She's in it too, I think,
Okay.
the second
Oh,
one.
I can't even imagine. Well, anyway,
I think she's in it from some other, like, they're in it, but they're different because Darville's in it too. I mean,
Okay.
it's in the same town, so.
one of the finest things about this, to me, was the way the final episode played out. Not giving anything away, but usually if you have a show like this or you have a story like this, we all know story structure. We get to the end, the killer is revealed, and in the old times it would be show's over.
No.
Now with modern shows, then they throw a twist at the end. You know, that's what always happens. You see, oh no, they shot that person, and then it goes to the next season. This, they reveal the killer like 10 minutes into the final episode, and now you have 30 minutes, 35
To
minutes
watch the aftermath.
of aftermath.
Yeah.
And it was like, we kept saying, like, we're going, I don't think I breathed for 10 minutes. Like, fascinating.
And I still have no idea
Much
how
better than
that
the end of
happened.
Lord of the Rings when it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Well, I had no idea that that's where it was going to go.
No.
No idea. Like, not even close.
No.
You suspect pretty much every single person in the show, with the exception of who it is.
Now,
The only person I didn't suspect was David Tennant.
right.
He's the only one I didn't because he wasn't in town.
And then you weren't sure. You thought, how did he get there?
At one point, you weren't sure.
Okay, so for anyone who watched it without giving anything away, did you guess who it was?
No.
No. Kelly?
No.
Did
No.
you, without giving anything away, did you ever at any point in the series guess who it was? We didn't either. Okay, so that's
nobody knew until that
unanimous.
final. That's saying something.
I don't even know who did it still.
It was Laura Palmer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Laura Palmer.
It was a midget that spoke backwards.
Right.
It was Balaka Blaka or whatever his name is. The little midget from Doctor Who.
Oh, that's the one. Jacob, what's the kid, the Falaka, what's that guy from Doctor Who that you always say? Banana Falaka something?
Banafakalaka.
He always says it. Look at him smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always say that to us, Jacob.
So, yeah. Now, I will say that there were times, you said it was so different than Doctor Who. There were times where Tennant,
No, I said his acting was.
his acting was, but there were times where I got a Who vibe.
Sure.
Where it almost, if you're a big Who fan and you're watching this, there are elements of what David Tennant is doing that I could see you putting it in to the Who universe, where it's
You're
like,
waiting for the TARDIS to show
where he
up and
just
him
all of
to
a sudden
jump in,
it's
be like, hey.
we've solved it.
Yeah.
Shoo! Like there were a few times, and it's not that his performance did it. It's there was something
I didn't
like
get
he would.
that.
I did. It would be like maybe he said a line that was similar to a Doctor Who line because we know it so well.
Right.
And it was like the writers had to be doing that, not to make us go like, oh, he's going to do it.
He
but
did write some episodes of Doctor Who. That's how they met.
Is that what it is?
So he did write
Okay.
an episode or two that they were
Because
involved
there
in.
was,
So
I got it a couple of times where did anyone else get it off of it? Where other than the fact that it was David Tennant, that there was just something Doctor Who-ish in a
I
couple
did
of
not.
places.
You did, Nathan?
No,
A little bit.
A little bit. There was something in like the dialogue or something that made me think it was him. It was interesting, and it wasn't performance based. It wasn't obvious. You know, it's not like you see something and you go like, oh, like you see Terminator and you're like, it's got to be the Doctor in the Terminator
Right.
movie. No, you know, that would have helped the Terminator movie. Frankly, we're not
right.
binging that. Okay,
Well, do you guys have anything for?
I don't have anything more. Are we done?
All right.
Let's
Chris?
rate it.
yeah, I think we're done.
Okay, so what do you?
Yeah, all the way.
Binge
Watch them
worthy.
all. Watch
100%.
8 of them, and then if you
I
can
don't
find more, watch them more.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to bother with our rating scale.
No.
It's a flat out
Watch this show.
binge it.
And binge it hard.
Yeah.
We watched it.
Don't
I think
start
one
it at
night
10
we
o'clock
watched-
at night.
We watched 4 hours in a row.
Yeah, 2 nights in a row.
Just because we.
And if we
were
didn't have an
had-
8-year-old, I'm going to blame her. We would have binged right through the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
what is up with that? Like
Kids,
with this
responsibility.
kid, man. She can't watch.
But yeah,
things.
2 nights in a
Yeah,
row.
no, she had to
4
take
hours
care of you.
apiece.
It's
It was
hard.
fantastic.
We had her just keep bringing us
Bring us
food
drinks.
and
That's
water.
right. So that's it. It's a full-on binge.
Okay,
So
but
full
wait,
on
what did everybody else think?
What do you
Anyone
guys-
who's seen it, what would you rate it?
Do you agree it's a binge?
Binge worthy or just sort of worth the watch or not?
You binged it?
Did
Yeah.
you?
So,
So-
would you recommend to other people watch it 100%
See,
binge?
because we do a thing where we say binge it, like try and do it right in a row, or we say space it out, like True Detective.
True Detective, you
can't
cannot
watch
you
every
cannot
episode
binge
in one
True
night.
Detective.
Watch one and then go get therapy, and then come
Yeah,
back and
you
watch
will need
another
it.
one.
Yeah,
Have a few drinks.
Yeah.
This one though, do
Take a
it.
trip.
I liked it.
Yeah.
But it does drag a little bit.
Okay.
So I wouldn't recommend like just totally because
Oh.
you could fall asleep a little.
So you think it's not? Okay, interesting. Because
Do you-
I thought that for me it was more keep going. Like the faster I watched it, the more exciting it was.
You definitely don't want to start from the first and go to the last. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
one of these things you can pick up in the
So maybe like 2 a night. Is that what you're thinking?
3, the most.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
3 a night's a
Or
good
2 or
one.
3 hours. That's
We did 4, but we would have done all 8.
Yeah.
No question. All right.
I
Okay,
wouldn't.
Nathan.
I watched half the season one night and then took a break for like a night to like kind of get a theory going.
Yeah, right.
Then watched the second half and then probably had that theory thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
So would you recommend that? You say absolutely binge worthy. Watch it.
As you think you can handle, and then when you start getting an idea, go back and watch the second half.
Awesome.
Well,
All right, Kelly.
Well,
What do you
and
say?
you guys are recommending watching Grace Point, even though you didn't like it as much.
But you maybe watch Grace Point first and then watch it.
Yeah, if you watch Broadchurch first, you're not gonna like it.
You know what? We have a show called Show Ratings, or TV Binges now has one called Pilot Review Roundtable, and that's what they said. They were so excited for Grace Point because Kyle is like, I love Broadchurch, and then he watched it and said, it's good, but something was not
well,
there.
it's the rehash, but I thought it was really good.
I think we're
did
going to
really
have
like
to
it.
watch it
So-
and then watch 2 and 3.
Watch Grace Point first and then binge the heck out of Broadchurch.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
I got one more question. Are 2 and 3 as good as 1?
Okay.
Excellent. And-
Excellent.
excellent. And did you see him, Chris?
No, I did not. So
Okay. So
because
you're
I
the
have
only
so
ones-
much time to watch stuff.
Well, and we just keep heaping it on.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Let's
what's
do
our
this
next binge?
twice.
Have we talked about it?
Okay. We have
Godzilla movie. No, I'm teasing.
Stop it. I would do that, but there's like 50 of them.
Rob and I have one that we're going to try to convince Chris to watch.
We got Kathleen to watch it, though.
It's Grace and Frankie.
Yeah.
I love
watched
that.
it yet?
Okay,
I
no
know.
spoilers.
I watched it while my wife was watching it in bed on her
It's
phone.
so good.
I've seen it too.
Fantastic,
So.
isn't it?
Okay, so we're going to do
All right,
Grace
wait. I'm
and
not telling you it's
Frankie next
fantastic.
time.
You'll have to hear if we like
So
it.
watch it if you want to be part of the conversation in the moment, or wait and hear what we have to say if you want to be more,
So the next one,
discerning with
Martha
your
is
time.
calling the next one
Yes.
Grace and
Grace and
Frankie.
You know what's funny is because when we started talking about rewatching, what do we?
Moon Boy.
We were watching
Moon
some-
Boy is
Kathleen watches them on her phone while we're going to bed, like before we go
Yeah.
to sleep,
Yeah.
and I listen to them.
So you get 'em through,
and,
like,
and I
osmosis.
not get them through osmosis. I pay attention, but I don't see it, so I get to hear it, and I think that's a different way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. So
Okay.
because she's watching X-Files, and so I listen to them, and she's like, "Well, you don't watch it." I'm like, "Oh, I hear the whole thing. I just
Yeah,
don't
right.
see it." So
Yeah.
We did that binge.
Yes.
And then, and we did a lot of binging the last week. We binged our way through Wayward Pines. Can we just touch
Well,
on
we're
that
not.
for a
No,
second?
no, because we're going to do that one.
we're gonna
no,
do
you
that
can't
one.
keep spoiling.
yeah.
We need to have a binge a
Look
week
who's
now, I
here.
think.
All right.
All right, is that it? Have we hit everything?
Look who just showed
Check
up.
it out.
Nice.
We got cosplayers. Come up here,
That's
guys.
awesome. Yeah, come on up.
Come here
Come
a
on up.
sec.
Hey, this place is no joke.
This
Why so serious,
Hey,
kids?
William, can you make sure they get on camera?
is awesome.
Come on over here.
Come on.
Here, guys.
We're going to interview you guys.
All right, we got Joker
Cameras
and
are right
Iron
behind you.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Iron Man, that's Ant-Man.
I don't know what the heck anybody is. I got Joker.
He's
He's
something, man.
red and gray. Okay, wait, you're Ant-Man?
Yes.
Huh.
You can't tell because
So
he's embiggened.
if someone takes a magnifying glass, can they defeat you? No.
Ba-dum-boom.
No, he doesn't know.
He's
Can
going to
we
shrink
try?
down, go into your bloodstream, and kill you now. All right.
He's going to be at our house later.
Joker, you're stealing the scene. Out of here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. They came all the way
You're on-
from Minneapolis.
You're on
Yep.
Google Plus and everything. That's awesome.
Yep. We encourage
Gene, do
cosplay
you
here at
want
the
to be
Blue
on
Box.
with your Heisenberg shirt?
All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening to Binge Worthy. We'll be back in a few minutes with the next one. Thank you, Blue Box.
Yay.